In our Sunrise Smart Start, 5 people are in custody after Rochester police say a driver in a car connected to an earlier gun threat took off from officers.
This began last night just before 9:30 when RPD saw a vehicle on Sherman Street that police believe was wanted for a menacing call earlier the same day. Officers tried to pull the driver over. They did not stop, and that launched the pursuit. The chase ended near Norton Street and Seneca Avenue, where the suspect did stop. 5 people inside the car at that point tried to make a run for it. RPD set up a perimeter nearby, and officers caught all of those suspects. No word yet on any names or pending charges.
Happening today, day 2 of trial for a Henrietta man accused of murdering his family 3 years ago.
On day 1 of the proceedings, the judge heard a lot from other relatives. A recording from a 911 call, saw body cam footage, and went over the report from the medical examiner regarding the victims. 39-year-old Rajab Benahi faces 3 counts of murder and aggravated criminal contempt. Investigators say in January 2023, he stabbed his parents and sister at their home on Cathy Drive before calling police. The parents found dead at the scene. His sister died at the hospital. The prosecution emphasized the impact of the findings from the medical examiner and the testimony in detailing the injuries to those victims. And during that 911 call, Benahi can be heard telling the operator, quote, "They were trying to kill me."
They are going to put on a defense of what's called, commonly referred to as the insanity defense, that the defendant would be not guilty by reason of insanity or by what's called mental disease or defect in New York law. And so that is what we anticipate to be the main issue in this case.
The importance of the medical examiners in this case is just to show, in our opinion, the brutality of the crime, the amount of stab wounds, the amount of blunt force injuries to each of these victims. And so I think that's what's important here, is to show that not only did he kill his parents and his sister, but he did it in just a very brutal way.
This is a bench trial, so that means no jury. The judge will determine the verdict, and that is expected by the end of this week.
It's day 2 of the U.S. military blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, with more than a dozen American warships blocking all tankers going to and from Iranian ports. The ongoing uncertainty in the region is affecting fuel prices, with crude oil hitting almost $100 a barrel Monday. A senior Pakistani government official says Islamabad has intensified efforts to get Iran and the U.S. back to the negotiating table before the ceasefire agreement between the 2 nations expires next week.
It won't be pleasant for them, let me put it that way.
I will continue to speak out loud against war, looking to promote peace.
Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is shifting focus to Israel's fight with Hezbollah. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will attend talks between Israeli and Lebanese officials in Washington today, despite Hezbollah's calls to quash them.
Your local election HQ, local Republican Congresswoman from the Finger Lakes, Claudia Tenney, alongside the conservative election group called Restoring Integrity and Trust in Elections, is threatening legal action over the state's voter rolls. They argue state election officials have violated federal law by processing voter registrations that lack the required ID. The group wants the state to give up the current voter rolls and identify any voters without a license, a partial social security number, or other affirmation on file. They gave the Board of Elections here a deadline of May 7th to provide those documents digitally. No response as of the end of business Monday from officials with the board. The
state budget is now 2 weeks late, and lawmakers say there's still no clear end in sight. A new budget extender has passed, keeping state employees paid and agencies open through Thursday. Behind the scenes, negotiations continue with disagreements over key issues like energy costs, climate policy, and auto insurance. Lawmakers on both sides say while discussions are happening, final details and legal language are still holding up a deal.
There's no indication that the majority is anywhere near finalizing a budget. Now nobody has to be here again until Thursday. To do what? Pass another extender.
We want it to be a budget that's going to work for all New Yorkers. We're focusing on lowering insurance premiums. We're focusing on blunting the impact of these high energy costs.
Lawmakers are expected back at the Capitol Thursday, where they could vote on yet another extension if a final budget still isn't ready.
Sunrise traffic here, 7 minutes to go until 7 o'clock. Issue 104 eastbound at Culver Road there in Irondequoit. Another one here in the city, Clinton Avenue and Bismarck Terrace. Terrace. Keep in mind, 590 southbound, as they're doing all the bridge work there at Monroe Avenue and near Allens Creek Road, they are closing that ramp going from 590 south and getting to Monroe, and that'll be going on for a little bit as everyone's adjusting to the new work zones. As we stay with driving, the city of Rochester is considering rolling out automated traffic enforcement tools to help improve public safety, and it wants your input. In just 2 weeks, city leaders will begin hosting a number of public meetings to go over plans for bringing back the red light cameras, using AI and other traffic sensor tools throughout the city. They say it's part of Rock Vision Zero, a campaign aimed at cutting down on the number of deaths and injuries with pedestrians on our roads. Rochester, if you recall, used to have red light cameras put up. That program ended roughly 10 years ago due to criticism about fairness in certain neighborhoods where they were, as well as the costs. At these meetings, the public will have a chance to learn how the tools will be used in the future, share their own experience, ideas, and other concerns if you got a ticket from one of those before. The first meeting is at the Willie Lightfoot Art Center coming up on the 28th.
Excitement about the warm weather out there as well, with the temperatures well into the 70s there today and the next couple of days. Watch out for those storms, especially coming in this afternoon.
9 o'clock, we'll see you. A lot to catch up on the podcast. Second Cup of Sunrise. Did I do something in the neighborhood that might have bothered some people?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, X, and on our app for news and weather. Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.